Part 1. 7 Signs You Must Cut Someone Out of Your Life, Even if it's family or friends. Stoicism, emotional mastery, self-respect, inner peace, mental strength. There comes a moment in your life, usually after you are tired, disappointed, and emotionally drained, when you realize a painful truth. Not everyone who smiles at you wants you well, and sometimes the people who hurt you the most are the ones closest to you. Family, friends, people you once trusted with your heart. Stoicism does not teach hatred, it teaches clarity. And one of its most brutal, liberating lessons is this: you must remove anything that destroys your peace, even if your heart is attached to it. This is not about revenge. This is not about anger. This is about self-respect, survival, and inner strength. If you ignore these signs, you don't just lose peace, you lose yourself. Sign 1. They drain your energy every time you see them. A Stoic understands one sacred truth. Your energy is your life force. Every thought, every decision, every act of discipline depends on it, and anyone who constantly drains it is quietly stealing your future. If every time you meet someone, you walk away feeling emotionally heavy, mentally exhausted, tense, anxious, or irritated, that is not a relationship. That is an energy leak. Some people don't attack you openly. They drain you through constant complaining, endless problems they never fix, emotional dependency, subtle guilt. They expect you to carry their emotional weight while they refuse to grow. Stoicism teaches restraint, not tolerance of self-destruction. You do not need to argue. You do not need to explain. You do not need to hate them. Distance, silent, calm, unapologetic, is enough. A Stoic guards his peace the way a warrior guards his weapon, without guilt, without permission. Sign 2. They disrespect your boundaries repeatedly. Marcus Aurelius warned, if someone cannot respect themselves, they will never respect you. Boundaries are not walls, they are filters. If someone repeatedly ignores your limits, mocks your values, violates your space, dismisses what matters to you, you are not dealing with misunderstanding. You are dealing with entitlement. And here is the Stoic rule many people refuse to accept. People who don't respect your boundaries are telling you who they are. Believe them the first time. Explaining again and again is not kindness, it is self-betrayal. At some point, distance stops being optional. It becomes necessary. Sign 3. They only show up when they need something. A relationship by nature is reciprocal, but if someone appears only when they want money, attention, validation, favors, emotional support, and disappears when you need them, that is not love. That is usage. Stoicism teaches discernment. A Stoic knows the difference between someone who values him and someone who benefits from him. If you are always giving and never receiving respect, effort, or presence, you are being consumed. Walking away does not make you cold. It means you woke up. Sign 4. They make you feel small, guilty, or not enough. Some people do not attack directly. They undermine you quietly. They mock your ambition, belittle your growth, guilt you for wanting more, make jokes that cut deeper than they admit. This is not honesty. This is not humor. This is projection. They see you changing, and instead of rising, they try to pull you back down. A Stoic never apologizes for becoming better. You do not shrink to make others comfortable. You do not dim your light to protect fragile egos. Cut off anyone who makes you doubt your worth for daring to grow. Sign 5. They break your trust more than once. Stoicism is unforgiving when it comes to patterns. Once is a mistake, twice is a warning, 3 times is disrespect. If someone repeatedly lies, hides the truth, betrays your confidence, violates your trust, they are showing you your future. Epictetus said it clearly. If they deceive you once, blame them. If they deceive you twice, blame yourself. Trust is sacred in Stoicism. Once broken repeatedly, it is not repaired with hope. It is protected with distance. Sign 6. Their presence brings chaos, not peace. A Stoic measures relationships with one question. Do I feel calm or chaotic when this person enters my life? Peace is not boredom. Peace is alignment. Drama, gossip, jealousy, conflict, tension, these are signs of emotional pollution. A Stoic chooses peace over familiarity, calm over history, self-respect over attachment. Sign 7. You are growing, but they refuse to change. Growth creates distance, and not everyone can follow you into the man or woman you are becoming. Some people belong to your past, not because they are evil, but because they are finished lessons. Letting go is not betrayal. It is evolution. Cutting someone out of your life does not mean you hate them. It means you love your peace, you value your energy, you respect your destiny. Walk quietly, walk with dignity, walk without explanation, because your peace is your power.
Part 2. When peace becomes the measure, why Stoics walk away without guilt. Stoicism, emotional boundaries, cutting toxic people, inner peace, mental strength. One of the most painful realizations in life is this. Some people don't ruin you loudly, they ruin you slowly. Not with betrayal, not with open hatred, but with chaos, instability, emotional pressure, day after day. Stoicism teaches a ruthless truth. Anything that disturbs your inner peace for too long must be questioned, no matter who it is. This part is not about anger. It is about clarity without guilt. Sign 6. Their presence brings chaos, not peace. A Stoic judges relationships by outcome, not intention. Ask yourself honestly, do I feel calmer or more anxious after interacting with them? Do I feel grounded or emotionally shaken? Do I think clearer or overthink for hours afterward? Peace is not something you negotiate. If someone's presence consistently brings drama, emotional instability, tension, gossip, constant crises, then the relationship is not difficult, it is destructive. Seneca warned, "No man can live a happy life if he is constantly disturbed." Some people live in chaos and they spread it like smoke. They normalize disorder. They feed on emotional storms. They mistake intensity for connection. A Stoic does not argue with chaos. He steps away. Why chaos is so dangerous to the Stoic mind. Chaos weakens judgment. When your mind is constantly disturbed, discipline collapses, focus dissolves, emotional reactions increase, self-control erodes. You become reactive instead of intentional, and reaction is where most mistakes are born. Stoicism values inner order above everything else. Any people who destroy that order are not challenging you, they are undermining your character. Why cutting off chaos feels so hard? Here is the trap most people fall into. They confuse familiarity with loyalty. Just because someone has known you for years, shared memories with you, suffered with you, grown up with you, does not mean they deserve permanent access to your inner life. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, people exist for one another, but not at the cost of your virtue. Stoicism never teaches blind attachment, it teaches right relationship. If someone resists your growth, destabilizes your peace, thrives on conflict, distance is not cruelty, it is self-preservation. Family does not automatically mean access. This is where Stoicism becomes uncomfortable but honest. Being related does not grant permission to manipulate you, guilt you, control you, emotionally drain you. Blood explains connection, it does not justify harm. Epictetus taught, if you wish to be invincible, make no treaty with what is outside your control. Family dynamics are often outside your control, but your response is not. You are allowed to love people from a distance. You are allowed to limit access. You are allowed to say nothing and walk away. Stoicism chooses peace over obligation. The Stoic difference, walking away without anger. Most people leave relationships explosively. They argue, accuse, explain, relive the pain. A Stoic leaves differently, quietly, calmly, decisively. No long speeches, no dramatic exits, no need to be understood. Because Stoicism teaches this, you do not owe explanations to people committed to misunderstanding you. Silence is not weakness, it is finality. Why you don't need closure from them. Closure is often an excuse to reopen wounds. Most people seek closure because they want validation, apology, acknowledgement. Stoicism frees you from this need. Marcus Aurelius wrote, waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. You don't need them to understand. You don't need them to agree. You don't need them to change. Your peace is the closure. Emotional guilt is not moral truth. Guilt often appears when you choose yourself. That does not mean you are wrong. It means you are unlearning emotional conditioning. Many people were trained to believe putting yourself first is selfish. Endurance equals virtue. Leaving means you failed. Stoicism rejects this. Virtue is not endurance of harm. Virtue is alignment with reason. And reason says, no relationship should cost you your sanity. The Stoic test before you cut someone off. Before acting, Stoicism demands reflection. Ask yourself, have I clearly observed patterns? Have I separated emotion from evidence? Am I acting from clarity, not anger? Once the answer is yes, you act. Not dramatically, not emotionally, but irreversibly. Cutting someone out is not about punishment. It is about choosing peace over familiarity. In Part 3, we will go deeper into the most difficult truth of all. What happens when you grow and they refuse to follow? Why evolution demands separation? How Stoics release people without hatred? And how solitude becomes strength, not loneliness.
Part 3. When you outgrow them, why Stoics let go without hatred. There is a moment in life that changes you forever. It's when you realize this painful truth. You didn't lose them, you outgrew them. And that realization hurts more than betrayal, because it forces you to accept something even harder. Not everyone is meant to walk with you into your next version. Stoicism does not soften this truth. It teaches you how to carry it without breaking. Sign 7. You are growing, but they refuse to change. Growth creates distance, not because you become arrogant, not because you think you are better, but because your values shift. Your standards rise. Your tolerance for chaos shrinks. Your need for meaning deepens. And some people cannot or will not follow. They mock your discipline, minimize your ambition, resist your boundaries, feel threatened by your clarity, not because you are wrong, but because your growth exposes their stagnation. Marcus Aurelius warned, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." When your thoughts change, your world must change too. Why outgrowing people feels like betrayal. You remember who they were to you when you were weaker, when you were lost, when you needed them. And guilt whispers, "How can I leave now?" Stoicism answers calmly, "You are not obligated to remain the same person forever." Gratitude does not require lifelong proximity. Respect does not require self-sacrifice. Some people were bridges, not destinations, chapters, not the whole book, lessons, not lifelong companions. Holding on out of guilt is not loyalty, it is fear. The Stoic law of seasons. Stoics understood nature, and nature never apologizes for change. Trees shed leaves, rivers shift course, day turns into night. Nothing stays and nothing should. Relationships also have seasons. Some teach you strength, some teach you boundaries, some teach you pain, some teach you who you no longer are. Wisdom is knowing when a season has ended. Clinging to what has expired creates suffering. Letting go restores order. Letting go without hatred. Here is where Stoicism rises above ego. You do not cut people off with bitterness. You do not turn pain into cruelty. You do not rewrite history to feel superior. You simply step away, calmly, quietly, without drama. Epictetus said, "Do not seek for events to happen as you wish, but wish for events to happen as they do." You accept reality. You do not need them to be wrong for you to move on.
You do not need to villainize them to justify your peace. You release them as they are. Why solitude is not loneliness to a Stoic. Most people fear being alone. Stoics train for it, because solitude reveals who you are without validation, what you believe without influence, what matters without noise. When you cut off draining relationships, silence follows. At first, it feels uncomfortable. Then it becomes honest. Then it becomes powerful. Seneca wrote, "He who is contented is rich." And contentment begins when you stop outsourcing peace to people. What happens after you let go? This is the part few talk about. After you let go, your nervous system calms, your thoughts slow, your discipline strengthens, your intuition sharpens. You stop explaining yourself. You stop seeking permission. You stop chasing alignment. You begin to choose yourself daily. And ironically, this is when healthier people enter your life, because clarity attracts clarity. The Stoic standard for relationships. A Stoic asks one final question: does this relationship help me live according to reason and virtue? If the answer is no, no amount of history can override that truth. Stoicism is not attachment, it is alignment. The quiet courage of walking alone. Walking away is not dramatic. Staying too long is. True courage is silent, unannounced, uncelebrated. You don't need applause. You don't need validation. You don't need understanding. You need peace. And peace demands difficult choices. Final Stoic reminder. Some people are not meant to stay, not because they are bad, but because you are becoming someone new. Release them without hatred, remember them without resentment, and move forward without regret. Because the Stoic path is clear. Protect your peace, honor your growth, and never apologize for choosing yourself.